Welcome to the I Love Coaching podcast, where we believe coaching solves everything.
Welcome back, everybody, to the I Love Coaching podcast. I am your host, Adam Roach, and today we have someone that is powerful. We have someone that can move your business. We have someone that is a coach inside of the I Love Coaching organization, and it is my pleasure and honor to introduce you to Coach Kate. Coach Kate, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
You know, it kind of has a good ring to it. There's Coach K with Duke, and this is Coach Kate with I Love Coaching. How about that?
I know. Yeah. I'm just a little extra. Cool. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's fitting for March Madness, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, so in typical I Love Coaching podcast fashion, I always ask the question, you were born and then what? So tell us what fits in that, what fits in that space?
What do I want to share? I was born and then I just kept on moving. I have moved a lot, but made really, really, really great, really progressive moves in the past probably 10 years. I am a wife. I am a mother of a little girl. She's 7. And then we just brought in a little boy. His name is Silas in the foster care system. And so we're watching him right now. And I am an entrepreneur and a rental investor. I own a company that really just pours into real estate agents and gives them a little bit of leverage that they're looking for in terms of transactions and marketing and that kind of stuff. And I am the children's director at the church that I attend, and I am an operations coach with I Love Coaching.
Ooh, boy, you've got a full plate, don't you?
It's a lot. I need a drink of water now after. That was a long intro. I should speed it up. Thanks.
Cheers to the water. Yeah. Okay, so let's go into your coaching space. Let's go into, this is the I Love Coaching space and podcast. And I want you to talk to everybody about what you do inside of our organization. And that is coach directly to the director of operations, right?
That's right. It's very specific. I think we have a lot to offer everybody just in systems and models, but really where my passion was, we're for the people that are often overlooked. And it's not like this whiny kind of thing. It's just, listen, there are tons and tons and tons of material out there for your CEOs and for your, $1 million agents and for people that are trying to grow and recruit. And there wasn't really a lot going on for people that were like me, who loved that space and were proud of that space and were good in that space. And there wasn't a lot of education. There wasn't a lot of coaching. There wasn't a lot of mentorship going on that I felt like was really pouring into the person who I'm speaking to, because there's a difference in coaching the person and coaching for their job, right? And really who you're coaching then, it's a downline into the agent is what's happening. And so really we're focusing on the people, growing the people, which in turn, if you're in alignment with your people, then it ends up affecting your business in a very positive way. And so we love our clients and we love coaching them. And so the division that we have in the ops realm is still about people, but it's also about productivity and systems and moving people forward.
Yeah, I love that. I love anytime you talk, I love to listen, because again, that space of the operations, if you're a CEO listening to this, or if you're the head of your organization listening to this, you need to be taking notes. And I'm going to tell you why, because what you're going to learn here in the next 30 minutes plus is going to be everything that your operations coach or your operations manager needs to continue to grow. And this is why, Kate, I love listening to you, because clearly we have operations here at I Love Coaching. We have an integrator, we have marketing, and your words are always so powerful. So are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
So this is your topic, right? This is your topic that you came up with that you want to discuss today on the I Love Coaching podcast. And that is ways to empower and motivate your operations team, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to get comfy and you just talk. Okay, here we go.
Go with it. Okay. Well, interrupt me though, because sometimes I don't know, I get going and then I lose myself.
Well,
so
let's do this before you even start. What's important to you about this topic? What made you want to come up with this topic?
I think it's because it's something that is talked about, but it's misunderstood. It becomes a very selfish topic. And I want to break that mold right now. If you really want to motivate people and if you really want to move your business forward, it's about people, right? It's not necessarily about all this other stuff. It's about figuring out what they want and making it happen for them, making sure you're in alignment with what they want, and then moving forward. There's a lot of pieces, right? That you could coach from the mountaintops all day long, but if you don't hit the heart of the person, then it's very surface level. And so motivating and empowering, those are words that get thrown around that shouldn't. Figuring out who your people are and how to move the organization as a whole, the heart of it forward. Otherwise, it's going to be a battle the whole way. You might be able to get them in a really productive space, but if you haven't truly empowered them, if you haven't motivated them, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what's the purpose of having it anyway, other than making a little bit of money on the way? What's the purpose?
I was going to say an employee, right? Just someone that comes in, clocks out.
Exactly. And who do you want on your team? Do you want an employee, or do you want somebody that's invested in your business, who's motivated to grow because it affects them on an individual level too? And so, I mean, you go way back, it's really about finding the right people. But once you get the right people, how do you take care of them? And so that's what I wanted to talk about today, because I had a list of things I'd like to tell the world, but this was the big one. How do we really affect people? And then how do we affect them in a way that builds our business and meets our vision and our goals as entrepreneurs?
Now, curious, because you're going to go into content here. When you get an operations client that comes in, what percentage of the time do they come in and say, gosh, I feel like my team leader or my boss is just that. They're just a boss, right? They're not a motivator. They're not someone that I really aspire to follow. I mean, what frequency do you actually see that? And again, for those that are listening, if you're one of her clients and you're one of the team leaders, don't take this personal. I'm just giving her a broad question.
I'm just giving facts here.
Yeah.
No, honestly, like I mean, I do see it. I'm not saying that I don't, but what I see more, and that is more impactful, is that they have no clue what they're after as an individual, or their boss, their CEO, their team lead, their rainmaker, whatever. They have no clue. They're not into the business like you want. They're on it, you know what I mean? They're moving you forward, but they're not in it. They have no idea what you're looking for. And then worse, they don't know what they're looking for, because in their brains, they think, okay, well, my vision must be my real estate agent's vision. It must be my boss's vision. And so it takes a long time. I've had clients where we've spoken all month long trying to figure out what it is that they actually want. Because when I ask, they have a laundry list of things, but it's not stuff they want. It's what their rainmaker wants. It's what they're told that they're supposed to want. And there's no passion behind that. And if there is, it's going to be short-lived, right? So like we have to figure out, and that's actually the very first thing, is figuring out what their individual vision really is. Because if you want to motivate them on a deeper level, then there has to be an emotional connection to where they're headed. And when I see them, when they first come to me, it's usually like I have to break them of saying, no, you're important too in this situation. Because if we really want to move at an incredible rate, blow everybody else out the water, then we need to make sure that you are connected into what the team vision is. And it's not just changing your world to fit it, right? It's making sure that the business you're working for and the rainmaker that you know and love and are working every day for fits into you, right? Fits into your vision. That's what I see most, is people have no idea that they come in and they are workhorses, but they're not knee deep into the values and the vision of the business.
Well, I can tell you from my side, when I'm coaching principals, here's what happens, right? When I'm coaching the CEOs and the chairman of the boards, this is what happens. Adam, I need to go hire a director of operations. I need someone that can come in here and run the operations side. And we'll work tirelessly to go find this individual. And then they're in the role. And I'll come back and I say, okay, fine. Tell me what the vision of that individual that you just hired. Where are you growing them to? And the majority of the time they'll say, I don't know. So go into your world now. So what do you do? So what's the process? How do you get them to find their vision?
really we break whatever baggage they had bringing in, because they think that it's possible that they know it. And if you do, kudos to you, like you're ahead of the game. But most of them think they do, but it's not theirs at all. It's about the business. They'll come in and they'll talk GCI. They'll come in and they'll talk transaction count. And I'm like, is that your vision? Is that what you're after? And we break it down, and it isn't, it really isn't. In fact, it usually takes a while, and it's hard. I've had a lot of tears thinking, gosh, when you figure out that you don't know what you want, that's heartbreaking. Right. And that when you look in the mirror, you don't even know where you're headed. You don't recognize yourself because you're just doing what you're told, thinking, okay, well, I must be doing a good job. And if I'm doing a good job, then that must mean that I am valuable. And so therefore I value myself. But those are not linked actually at all. It's figuring out what they want. And so what we do is we go, it's pretty intense. We talk about, okay, if we were sitting across from the table 3 years from now, maybe 5, if it's a stretch, 3 years from now, and we're in, whatever place we want to be, we're across the sea, we're in France. Okay. And we're sitting down and we are celebrating like a party because you have had the best 3 years of your entire life. And I'm not just talking professionally, I'm talking personally too. It has been a wild ride and we have had the best time, and you are successful and you love yourself and you love where you're at and you're loving the people around you. What does that look like? And so then we do kind of really a journaling exercise where we're breaking things down all the way from, okay, where are you at mentally? Where are you at spiritually? Where are you at with your family? Where are you at romantically? Where are you at professionally? How much money are you making, by the way? How much time do you have to travel? What are your hobbies? What does that look like? And so we build this dream, right? And then once we have the dream, we go back through it. And I ask them, and this is probably the toughest part, I ask them, what are you emotionally connected to? What kind of lights up inside when you read what you've just written? What lights up? What are you emotionally pulled to? And usually it's not things like, that promotion that they had said, that they're not emotionally connected to it. It might be spending more quality time with their family. It might be the fact that they have time now to do their hobbies, or that they're in a leadership position, or that they're influencing other people, or that they have time to give back. All of these different things that they're emotionally connected to. And once we figure out your dreams, and then we figure out your emotional connections, that's where we find your values. And so those words that we've circled, leadership and all of those things we pulled, that's what they value. And then that's the starting place of building a personal vision. What do you value? What do you want? And if you combine those values and you make sure that you have enough money to do them, you have enough time to do them so that you can actually enjoy them, and you have enough ability to do them, just in general, like whether that's education or skill set or whatever you need to grow, that's where you build your personal vision. So for example, I was speaking with somebody and she had no clue what she really, really wanted. And it turned out that when we broke it down, it was family time. Her family lived in another country. They didn't have enough money really to come visit. And if they did, that was all the money that they had. And so she absolutely wanted to bring her family in and have family vacations and bring them in and have quality time with her family that was so far away. And so her personal vision was a combination of having enough money to buy a home that had guest bedrooms for her family and fly them in. What a personal vision. And then you throw in, okay, well, that's the tangible side, but really it's quality time. Okay. So what happens if we get her the raise, if she works her butt off and she becomes this incredible ops manager? She's making all of this money. She's created a great business for her Rainmaker. But when she invites her family over, she doesn't have the time to spend with them.
Right.
That's not the vision, right? The vision is having enough time. So we combine the money, we combine the time, we combine the skill set into this really beautiful world that we've created for her. And then we make sure that whatever she's created is in alignment with the team. Is the team able to give her what she wants and what she needs? Are they able to right now have flexibility so she can take a vacation? Will they be able to afford what she needs to be able to get what she wants, and making sure that it fits. And then once it fits, which it usually does, because the people that are investing into coaching really want to invest into their people, it usually does fit. That's when the magic happens. That's when every single thing that young woman does, every tactic, every time she builds a system, every time she automates marketing, every time she moves, she's now emotionally connected to what she's doing, because it will reach her end goal. And it will also reach the business's goal. And that's where the magic happens. So making sure that you're understanding your people's individual visions is the most selfless and beneficial thing that you can do for your business. That's my number one for sure.
Well, we can be done. Congratulations.
Okay, bye.
That was powerful. Nice job there. That was amazing. Now, here's the fun part. So let me ask you this. You and the client, you come up with the vision, right? You come up with a very powerful, emotionally connected vision that is around the dreams, that is around the value, that is around the money, that is around the time, right? Now, let's say that I'm that principal that didn't know your vision. How do you instruct your client to then go talk to the principal and share that vision with that principal or that boss? In this case, we'll just say boss, right?
Yeah, we gotta plug them in. So just knowing it is only half the battle. Now we have to fill them in, and it's not like it's this added weight that needs to be added on to their principal or to their rainmaker, or whatever that looks like. It's not an added weight. It's just it's a tool, right? It's a tool that you now use to communicate, to make sure that they're on track. If they're hurting, if they're struggling, if they're burdened, if they feel burnout, what are you doing that's reaching your personal vision? Are you taking steps to get there? Because if you're not, you might be taking steps for me, the principal, but the goal, in order to get us where you want to go and the business, then we have to make sure that we're in alignment the whole way. And so you start to structure your business, figuring out, okay, if I want to keep this person happy, if I want to keep them long term, if I want to keep them churning and making sure that we're growing, then I want to make sure that they're on track for their life goals. It's a management tool. And so as the ops person, they should be taking it in. That should be something that they're referencing in their one-on-one conversations, which is my number 2 point. If you're not having real communication outside of tasks, then we're in trouble. But I jumped ahead. But honestly, that's what happens. You make sure that you're spending time, you're checking in, and you're making sure that your relationship and the goals for where you're headed are still in alignment.
So, okay, stay there for a second, because that's really, really good. Now, who do you suggest that they share? Do you suggest that they share that with anybody, or do you suggest that they just keep that to themselves and that's their motivation?
You mean like the ops person keeping it to themselves?
Correct,
No, I think as a manager or CEO myself, I want to know what my people are doing. I want to know where they're headed, and not for this kind of weird control thing that I'm after. I don't want to be in business if I'm not moving people forward. For me, it should be, and I heard this actually referenced in your clinic, that for me, I want to live in this big snowball effect, right? I'm rolling down the hill and nothing's going to stop me. I'm going. But if you're going to get in my way, you're coming with me. You're growing with me. And as we go, we're going to pick up speed. And anybody that I come into contact with, I want to bring them along too. And so as a good leader, that's what we should be doing. We should figure out what our people want, make sure that it's in alignment, and that we can give it to them, because that's where disruption happens. A good leader will recognize, I cannot give you what you're looking for. And if you cannot give them what they're looking for, we either fix it, we find a new seat, we add into the business, or we decide, okay, in order for you to grow, we cannot be in business anymore, because I can't give that to you. And you're saving them and you're saving yourself, because they'll figure it out. And then you're going to be 2 years down the road, have built a business around an individual, and they have left. You know what I mean? Figure it out right away. Figure out that you're on the same path, and then make it work. The communication is key. You have to talk about it. So don't keep that kind of stuff to yourself.
Transition to that. Coach us all on how to be better communicators in this conversation here. What does that look like?
Yeah. Well, when you're dealing with ops people, you build a system around it, right? Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for stability. So put it on the calendar. The very first thing you should be allotting for new employees, I would say once a week. After 6 months, maybe if you guys are on a roll and things are going good, you can push it to maybe once every other week. But you should be allotting about a half hour every single week to have a conversation that is not about the tasks that are on their plate. It's not a check-in. It's not, hey, what's going on with 123 Main Street? That should never enter the room. You should have those morning huddles, or you know what I mean? That should be a daily thing. This is separated. Okay. This is sacred space that is open to the other individual, that they can share what they want to share. And so when I have one-on-ones with my team, the very first question that I ask is, what is the most important thing that we should be talking about today? And even when I'm coaching, if I can sense that something else is going on, that's the very first thing. And you will be surprised by the honesty when they are given the space to communicate, because I don't want to box any operations people in, because I hated that. I hated when people said, oh, you're an ops, you must not love public speaking, or, oh, you're an ops, you must be an introvert. Well, both of those are probably true, but I'm still good at them, right? It might take me a little bit of time to warm up, or it might take me there, but I can still do those things. So don't limit me. So I don't want to limit you, but in general, we are respectful of the space that we are in and who we are speaking to. And so we are less likely, and again, this is an observation, it's not for everybody, but we are less likely to just voice our opinions or our concerns or our burdens, because we're taught to be solution bringers. Correct. So why would I burden you in this random conversation that we're having? If you give me the space to say, hey, listen, this is your time. It's sacred. And this is whatever you want to talk about, it will come out, because now we're given the freedom to have a conversation. So schedule that one-on-one, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it cash talks. I call them one-on-ones, where you're sitting down and you're allowing that person to have control over the conversation. Because for the most part, we'll all admit, usually when we have a conversation, we're the ones that are controlling it. We're the ones that are driving it. Hey, you're on my time now. Hey, hop in the car on this listing appointment. And that's not true, meaningful conversation. This is, though. This is, you turn your phone off, you leave it outside, you come in and they have your undivided attention, because we need it. Because we have tons of ideas we want to share. We have tons of concerns we want to let out. And because we are people, right? And we want to be nurtured, and we want to be heard, and we want to be valued. So that conversation should be sacred. That would be my first
You know what I love about, I want to stop us just for a second, because I want to bring everybody in. If you're listening to Kate right now, what you're hearing is, you're hearing it from the ops side.
Yeah.
Right. You weren't getting your perspective of the way that we should be treating our director of operations or our operations team, right? Because again, the principal or the rainmaker or the team leader, or whatever it is going to want to be at the front of the room, right? And that's okay. And what I'm hearing you say here, though, is that we need to slow down to listen.
Yeah, definitely.
Slow down to listen. Now,
that conversation should be way more listening than it is talking. And it's gosh, it's going to benefit you, because what they wouldn't have told you, what they would have kept to themselves if they weren't given permission to share, is going to blow your mind. And you're going to benefit in terms of relationship too. That kind of trust. Like, he trusted me with that, or he trusted me with that. Like that, man, I'm in a different position than I thought I was. Changes the game when it comes to relationships. And oh, sorry, go ahead. No,
go ahead. Give me the answer.
Oh, I was going to say, if you allot time, because as a leader myself, my time is few and far between, and I'm pretty busy too. And so what happens is, when I give them that 30 minutes or that hour time block, I don't hear from them 8 times during the week. You know what I mean? They know that I'm going to be there at that meeting, and I will be all ears, and I will be way more attentive in that meeting than I will be on a random Tuesday when you're calling me at, 4:30 right before you're off work. So if you hold it for that, it's quality, right? And so they're going to, and I mean this in a good way. They're going to let you be until that you have time blocked that time, because they can respect it, right?
Yeah. And I want to go back to what you said and bring some clarity here to our listeners. You brought up what was called a cash talk, right? And some people use that as a system. Some people use different questions. And I want to let all of our listeners understand what CASH stands for. And that's a K that stands for knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits. And it's a series of 6 questions that takes someone through a process. And it can be used with anybody. It doesn't have to be used just with director of ops. It can be used with anybody. And that's knowledge. Tell me about the knowledge that you gained this week in terms of your growth. Tell me about your attitude right now. Tell me exactly what's going on in the workplace and or in your world as it relates to your attitude. What are you liking? What are you not liking? Skills. What skills do you still think you need to possess to become better? And the same thing with the habits, right? Now, I'm going to give you a quick little example of this and why this is so important, exactly what Kate is saying. I hired someone one time. I actually recruited them from another state, and they were all the way from Texas. And this was a very independent individual, and she could stand on her own 2 feet, and we did a cash talk, right? We did a cash talk, and it got down to the last question. And the last question was something about help, right? Is there anything you need specific help with right now? And I don't remember what the actual language was. Nevertheless, I am thinking that this individual is totally fine, right? They're totally fine. And she gets to that last question and she says, well, I know I can be honest with you, I'm lonely. And I thought, interesting. What does that mean, right? Who gets lonely? No one gets lonely. It's okay. You're fine. But I had to listen, right? I had to be a good leader and I had to listen. And what she said was, you recruited me all the way here from Texas, and my office is on the other side of the office, and the team is on this side of the office, and I would just like to be closer to the team. And I thought, I would have never known that. I would have never known that. And you know what happened? When I moved to her office, her productivity shot through the roof. Shot through the roof because she was lonely.
Yeah.
Super simple, super basic, super simple. Though I am validating what you said, is you gotta take some time to have these conversations, right?
Yeah, you got to ask the right questions, powerful questions. There's power in that. Otherwise, you might not be that inviting for people just to randomly tell you things, right? And I'm not saying you weren't inviting. I'm sure you were lovely in that stage of your life, and everybody wanted to share. But it was because you asked the question that she felt like she had permission to share. It was because you set aside time. How powerful is that for somebody to say, "Listen, I've blocked 30 minutes. I just want to hear you. I just want to hear what you have to say, because it's beneficial to you. It's beneficial to me. It's beneficial to the business. It's what I want." How powerful is that? Rather than sitting in an email and saying, "You good?" You know, like, hey, everything good? How's 123 Main Street, by the way? Now you're good is out the question. You know, like that's not even, you're focused on the person and who they are, and there's power in that.
Right. Okay. So, let's end this way. I want you to tell the operations people, give them 2 action items. And then of the principal side here, give them 2 action items as well. Give them give them homework here, Coach Kate. Give them homework.
Gotcha. Okay, for my ops folks, you're awesome, by the way. For them, I would say sit down and figure out where you want to be in 3 years, and make sure that you're fighting that urge to meet the needs of your rainmaker, of your principal, of your CEO. Make sure that you're fighting that. Make sure it's exactly what you want, and then break it down and figure out, okay, what is it that I value and how do I get there? Right. And that how to get there, I said it very fast, but I mean, that's hard to figure out. How much time do I need to enjoy that person? I cannot imagine a worse fate than in 3 years, you get up and you look in the mirror and you have no idea who you are. You have no idea. And it happens to far too many people. So figure it out now. Take the time, invest in yourself right now. And then the second thing I would say, make sure that you are being honest with your person, with your principal. Make sure you're being honest, because I think there's a lot of fear, not because they put it there, but just in rocking the boat, right? I was hired to do this. That's what I was hired to do. And if I don't do that, as long as I'm doing that, then I should be happy, right? And I'm not going to voice concerns, and I'm not going to show the reason why you were hired. I guarantee it was for your brain, for your skill set, and for who you are as a person. That's what they wanted. They want the task and they want it done, but they also want your brain and what you have to offer. Do not limit yourself just because of a title on your email signature. They want to hear that. And if they don't, then we'll figure that out along the way. That's another issue in itself if they don't want to hear it. But I guarantee you have really, really great ideas. I guarantee you're seeing red flags. I guarantee you see growth where they do not, because you have a different brain than they do. Use it, right? That's why they hired you in the first place. For principals, my number one thing I would say right now, look at your calendar and figure out and assess, am I making quality time for the people that I'm with, my buyer's agents, whatever that is. And if you have separated yourself, then that was the goal, right? And so maybe you aren't that person. Maybe you aren't the person who's supposed to be having these conversations, but somebody should. Are my people being heard? Am I soaking up like a sponge everything that I have hired, all of the good skills? Am I using it, or am I being am I being wasteful with what I've been given? We're all called to be good stewards. Okay. So you hire these people, they are in your worlds. Are you nurturing them? Are you listening to them? Are you taking that in? Look at your calendar and make sure that there's time, at least 30 minutes a week, to check in with your people and hear them. And then I would say the second thing I would do is look break down the roles of your company,
Mhm.
look at who's doing what, and figure out if there is ownership given to the people that you believe should have ownership of something.
Mm.
And I'm not talking about, legal paperwork. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, do the people that I have the privilege to be leading,
Mm.
do they have a space where they can be proud of something in my company?
Right.
Are they owning something, whether it's your transaction management system, whether it's marketing, whether it's lead follow-up, is it client care, is it just your schedule? What am I giving them to own?
Right.
And am I doing it in a way that provides them with the pride that comes
Mhm.
with being connected to my business? Am
Right.
I giving them an avenue for that? Because that just ownership alone can go a really, really long way.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. The empowerment there is so strong. That's so
Yeah.
strong.
Yep.
Coach Kate, way to go. You
Oh, thanks.
crushed this I Love Coaching podcast.
Thanks for
So
having me.
my pleasure. Now you have products, you have systems, right? You have things that can really help these operation managers, directors grow in their business. So give them just a quick little commercial taste of your 90-day coaching program, and then tell them a little bit, just a little bit, because we don't want to give them the steak yet. We want to give them just a sizzle,
Gotcha.
right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Give them a little sizzle of your program and then your one-on-one.
Yeah. So my one-on-one coaching, it's for anybody, honestly. But we dive deep into what we've talked about today in creating that ownership, creating individual visions, making sure that you're motivated in the real way and being valued as a person. Because a lot of people get thrown into coaching because maybe their productivity is down, but that really wasn't the big issue. That wasn't the issue. It's really their communication, or it's that, they don't know their role. They don't understand it.
Right.
So it's diving deep into the issues in the business, also into the growth. So we're knee deep in systems. We're not just talking about fluff. We're not just talking about things like how to stay motivated. And those are all really important, but I'm looking at their spreadsheets. I'm looking at things. I'm looking at their figures. I'm knee deep into their systems and models that are moving this business forward, and making sure that they're scalable for the growth that the principal is looking for. Right.
Yeah.
So that's my one-on-one coaching. My training program that we've developed is really, really cool. It's for your new hires, but honestly, anybody could go through it. It's customized. So I do a deep dive with the principal, and we talk about the different systems that they're using, the internal functions, communications, the things that they want their people to learn. I pull them out, and then I create a guide for it with video links and tutorials. If they need to learn .loop or DocuSign or whatever, all of that how-to is all created for them. And so really what's happening is it's taking that training portion off of your plate and creating a space where the individual you just hired can be a little bit more self-guided. They have ownership over their own training. That was that key piece we're looking for. Can you handle ownership? It's also a vetting process, right? If you can't be self-guided in your training, if you can't reach out to me or reach out to the people that you need to that are assigned in the training program, if you can't do that, then you're not the right fit for this company, because what we're looking for are people that are doers, not just receivers. And so it's a really comprehensive training guide, and we walk them through it. I meet with them 3 times a week, and make sure that they're on track. And then the hirer, the principal, is kept into the loop the whole way. So I'm giving tons of feedback and making sure that we're all on the same page. So it's been pretty successful, and I've met some really, really awesome people.
Extremely successful. And I have, of all the principals that I coach, I've pushed the director of operations to you, and you have knocked it out of the park. So thank you. From them, thank you. And thank you.
You're very welcome, guys.
Standpoint. You are absolutely crushing it. Okay, so how can they go find you? Tell them how they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find all my information on the I Love Coaching page. If you just go to coaches, you can click on that, read my bio and a little bit about me. But otherwise, go ahead and reach out to my email at that you guys just changed it. It's Kate at ilovecoachingco.com. You can reach me there, and I'm also on some social media stuff. So
perfect. And that's Kate, and that's ilovecoachingco.com. So put the CEO, and that's just company. Well, perfect. You did a great job today, Coach Kate, and I'm so glad. You're the new Coach Kate. That's
Hey,
so cool.
Coach
You're
K.
the new coach. He's retiring. He's gone. That Coach K is going to be gone. So
I
you are the
know.
new Coach
I
K.
am the legacy. I am.
You are the
Well,
legacy.
yeah.
They will win championships with you. That is for sure.
There we go.
Well, thank you very much. And everybody, like we always end, this is the I Love Coaching podcast. I am Adam Roach, your host. This is Kate, Coach K. And if you like this podcast, go subscribe and give us a great review. We would love it. Otherwise, go check us out. Oh, by the way, sneak peek. She's creating an evergreen course. It's going to live on into eternity, but that's all you get for right now. So go check her out at ilovecoachingco.com, and we'll see you guys later. See you. Bye.
Yeah.